Hi everyone, it's Kathy. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'll be sharing a Moooo-velous fun fold gift card holder, and this is how the end result will look. To create this card, you'll need a piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 9 3/4 inches, another piece that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, another piece that measures 5 inches by 5 inches, and we're going to cut that down a little bit later. You'll need a piece that measures 4 by 5 1/4. You'll need 2 pieces that measure 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And finally, a little piece that measures 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. I used the Cow Party stamp set for the front of the card. I left the coloring out because I wanted to focus more on putting the whole card together, but I'll make sure to list all of the Copics that I used to color in the super cute little cow, as well as all of the other products that I used. So I started out by randomly stamping some balloons from the Happy Everything stamp set onto one of the pieces of cardstock that measures 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. I went with a light green, a light yellow, and a light blue, and I made sure to overlap the balloons so that they would have that nice transparent look. After I was done stamping the balloons, I thought that I wanted to add a little bit of confetti to my balloons, so I pulled out my polka dot stencil and I used the same light yellow ink and a tiny little ink blending brush, and I stenciled over that whole panel. I even made sure to go over the balloons to have an extra layer of texture. Next, I grabbed the piece of cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4, and I stenciled that whole piece using the same polka dot stencil with the same bright yellow ink pad. The next step was to grab the piece of cardstock that measures 5 inches by 5 inches, and then I inked up the brushed stripes background stamp with a brighter green ink, and I placed my cardstock face down on the stamp and used a piece of scratch paper to rub on top of that to make sure I got a really good ink transfer. I wanted to have kind of a gingham-y look, so I re-inked the same stamp, and then I turned my cardstock 90 degrees so that I could end up with that gingham-y pattern. It probably would have been easier for me to just turn the stamp 90 degrees instead of trying to figure out which way I stamped the stripes the first time. So there's a little tip for you there. Instead of turning the cardstock, just rotate the stamp 90 degrees. After I had stamped the gingham-y pattern, I cut that piece down to 1 3/4 inches by 3 1/8 of an inch, and I set that piece aside. The second piece that I cut was 2 1/2 inches by 4 inches, and then I'm going to do a little bit of scoring so that I can create a little pocket for my gift card. I scored at 1/2 inch, and then I scored at 3 1/2 inches. Then I rotated the cardstock 90 degrees and scored again at 1/2 inch. The next step is to cut out the corners where the scored lines intersect, and then I like to cut a little bit of an angle off the side flaps so that when I fold it up and glue it down on the inside of my card, it'll just lay a little bit more flat. After I trimmed out those corners, I used my bone folder along those score lines to make sure that they were nice and crisp, since this is the little pocket for my gift card. Next step is to take the piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 9 3/4 inches, and you're going to score it at 3 1/4 inches and then at 6 1/2 inches. When you do the folding, you're going to have one fold be a mountain fold and one fold be a valley fold. And you want to make sure that your mountain fold is all the way on the left and the valley fold is the one that's on the right. I'll be sure to have all of these measurements for all the different pieces of cardstock listed in the description box below as well. Next, I wanted to stamp my sentiment, so I grabbed the other piece of cardstock that measures 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. I placed that in my MISTI, and I stamped up the sentiment, "Party till the cows come home." Next, I adhered the sentiment on the far right-hand side of my little pull-out piece of my card. Next, I used my tape runner to adhere my little pocket on the center panel. And finally, I adhered the balloon background on the very far left panel. The other small piece of gingham-y cardstock that measures 1 3/4 by 3 1/8, I adhered that below the balloons. Here's that super cute little cow from the Cow Party stamp set. And I had trimmed it down after I stamped and colored it. And it measures roughly 2 by 2. And the yellow piece of cardstock is 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. I decided to use foam squares to pop that up on the very front. And off camera, I had stamped the sentiment, "It's your birthday," and die cut it using the Quick Strips die set. And I used small foam squares to adhere that to the very front panel. To finish up my card, I adhered the polka dot stencil panel onto the yellow piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then I adhered my fold out panel to the very front. And one tip when adhering this, go ahead and fold up that accordion so you can get it centered just right. Then all you have to do is add your gift card, and there you go. There is my Moooo-velous fun fold gift card holder. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, we'd love it if you would. And don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.